What's up, everybody? I'm Tank, and I am bringing you a roadie reaction because I'm a roadie, and I'm going to be reacting to videos that you guys recommend I check out. Those were the first words that I ever uttered on this YouTube channel. And honestly, man, it's kind of hard to watch that now. It seems really, really lame and cheesy. But a lot's changed, man. And today, right now, while I'm filming this, is exactly 1 year to the day from when that video was released. This is my 1 year anniversary of uploading content to YouTube. And instead of doing normal content today, I kind of just wanted to sit here and relax and have another open, honest conversation with you guys. A Tank Talks, if you will. And just talk about this entire process and how I got started and the things I've learned along the way and how this stuff works and anything else that just comes up, because this stuff isn't scripted. I'm just going to sit here and film. There might be some cuts where I take pauses and, just want to think, but I'm just going to let the camera roll for a while and see what happens. And by the end of this video, if there's any more questions that you guys have, drop them in the comments below and I will try and answer them. So, without further ado, let's get it going. So before we start any kind of discussion or in-depth talk about any of this, I feel like I just want to take this opportunity to give a very special shout out and a thank you to a very special person. And that person is you. Yes, you, whoever you are that's watching this right now, you are the person I want to thank, because without you watching, this channel doesn't amount to anything, man. And I know there's a lot of factors that go into the success of channels, whether it's, marketing or the personality of the creator or the content that's here. But even if I was excellent at all those things, it wouldn't matter if none of you guys watched. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for watching this channel and taking your valuable time and spending it with me on occasion. I really appreciate it. And honestly, when I first started this channel, I didn't expect much. I think in my head, I was like, yeah, if I can rack up like a couple thousand subs and, get some viewers and some people to talk to about music, that would be super cool. And really early on when I first started, there's a now notorious moment with my subscribers on here that everybody always laughs about. And I'll just share that with you really quick. Before I start, I just gotta say I am shocked and super humbled by the fact that in the last couple days since I've started putting videos up, I've had over 1,000 views on this channel, 50 subscribers, and I know 1,000 views and 50 subscribers. That was fucking exciting, man. Seriously, after a few days of doing this, I couldn't believe that 50 people subscribed to my channel. And now, if I'm being totally honest, I've kind of gotten a little desensitized to the growth of the channel, but it still blows my mind that right now so many people watch these videos. And I guess in the grand scheme of things, compared to other YouTubers, these aren't big numbers on my channel. I think the last time I looked statistically, ranked in the US, my channel is somewhere in the top 500,000. So not super big. But for me, where I started and my gauge on how much I'm having fun and what my success is, this is excellent, man. I couldn't have asked for more. This is an absolute blast. And right now, from a year ago, from those 50 subs and 1,000 views, this channel just recently hit 80,000 subscribers and has over 9.5 million views. That's insane to me, man. It is. It really is. I was just talking to my wife about it earlier. It blows my mind. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. And on top of everybody that's watching, we've had a great community here. I've gotten to know a lot of you guys by name, whether it's in the comments or the live premieres or the Discord channel that I share with my buddy Chase. I mean, there's so many of you that feel like close personal friends, that are close personal friends at this point, and it's a blast. I legitimately enjoy getting on here and talking to a lot of you guys. And speaking of that Discord, we have people that are moderators and administrators on there, and there's way too many people to name in one video right now. You know who you are. I love you guys. Thank you. There are people who are helping us out without getting paid. They're just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. They enjoy doing it. We've expressed to them that we'd like to compensate them financially, and I think they kind of know we're not in that position to do that. And later in this video, I'll talk about money. And yes, I'm actually going to tell you how much I've made from this, but it's just mind blowing, the whole thing. So let's get on with the video before I start cracking up here. Thank you guys. I love each and every one of you that's taking your time out of your day to watch these videos and share them around. And I don't know what else to say other than thank you. So this whole YouTube thing started for two reasons: boredom and necessity. And I know some people are familiar with this story, but I'll just retell it really quick for those that aren't. For the past 15 years, I've been working in the touring music industry. I've done a lot of different jobs for a lot of different bands, but for the past 6 years, I've been a guitar tech for a country artist in Nashville. And when this whole COVID thing started, we got sent home in March of 2020. And when we first got sent home, we only thought we were going to be home for a few weeks, and then it turned into a month, and then a couple months, and then 6 months. And I didn't have anything to do. And because everything here was shut down, I didn't want to go out and try and find another part-time job somewhere. So I kind of just sat down and thought, like, what can I do from home that could possibly provide for myself and my wife and our child that was on the way, that is now here? And at first, I wanted to do Twitch. YouTube was an afterthought. I wasn't even thinking about doing YouTube. I love playing video games, and I figured I'll sign up for Twitch. I'll get some streaming gear. I'll stream some of my favorite video games and maybe make a few extra bucks. But I learned very quickly that getting followers on Twitch and getting people to watch your content is really hard. And that's like an understatement. It's insane, man. I think I streamed every day for like 2 weeks straight for like 4 or 5 hours a day. And I think at any given time I had 2 or 3 viewers. That's it. And I was kind of getting frustrated. And a friend of mine that I tour with, his name is Andy Shaw. He's an awesome human being. So Andy, if you ever see this, thank you, because it's really you that gave me the YouTube idea. He told me one day, he goes, why don't you pivot to YouTube and maybe just find some content to do on there? Sorry, my dogs are going nuts if you can hear them barking. This isn't high production. We're just sitting in a bedroom in a house right now. So I started a YouTube, but I didn't know what to do. And he was like, well, you know all those reaction videos that we watch on the bus while we're on tour? Why don't you do some of those? You seem like you probably have the personality for it. You could check out some new music you haven't seen. And I was like, okay, cool. And the original plan was to do the reaction videos, tell everybody about my Twitch, and get everybody that watched me on YouTube to go to Twitch. And very quickly, I realized I was onto something else. And right now, Twitch is the afterthought to YouTube, man, because reactions weren't the thing that I was wanting to do right away. It kind of just organically happened. And even early on doing the reactions, like 3-4 months in, I still wanted to try and pivot to other things. But I've started having so much fun discovering new music and learning about more gear and stuff like that, that I think I'm just going to keep doing this mainly for a while and just see what happens. One of the biggest misconceptions that I had when I first started this YouTube and Twitch thing was that I was going to need the latest, greatest, and best quality products to have success with my videos. When I watched other streamers and YouTubers, I saw that a lot of them have 4K quality on their cameras. They have nice microphones and green screens and editing effects and stuff like that. And I wanted it. I'm not going to lie. I wanted all of it. But I didn't have a ton of finances available. I had a little bit saved from when I was touring. And usually when I put my mind on something, I want to go all in on it. So I bought the best available products for me that I could afford when I first started. And I was a little bummed that I couldn't get certain things. I wanted really nice microphones. I wanted a nicer camera and stuff like that. But I really realized quickly that for the size of my channel, I don't need that stuff to get people to watch it. And on top of that, a very close friend of mine that is a professional videographer said the same. He's like, when you're starting out, you don't need that top of the line stuff, man. As long as you have good content that people want to watch, they're going to watch it. Now, of course, you don't want it to look and sound like you recorded it on a Nokia cell phone from 1999, but all that high-end stuff does not matter when you're first starting out. And honestly, I probably could have gone cheaper with some of the stuff I've got. And I am one of those people that when I see somebody with something new, I kind of want it. And I have upgraded over the last year. I got a new microphone. I got a new camera. And if I'm being blatantly honest, I kind of liked the older, cheaper stuff that I had more than the more expensive stuff I have right now. But if there's anybody watching this that's thinking about doing streaming or content creating, just know you really don't need all that high-end stuff when you're first starting. I'm a year in and I would still say I have mid to low level stuff. You don't need it. Just put out good content, get to know your viewers and stuff like that, and people will come back and watch. Save your money. When I first started this YouTube channel, I really thought that to grow and to stay relevant and to get people watching, I had to put out as much content as humanly possible. If you go back to my earlier videos, there were almost videos every single day. There were some weeks where it was 7 days a week. And I adopted that mentality for a while. And then months down the road, I kind of skipped a couple days here and there. I just felt burned out. I didn't want to do a video or something happened at home like that. And I just didn't get a video out. And I noticed nobody cared. Everybody was super cool about it. They're like, hey, whatever, man. We'll watch whatever the next video is that came out. And then once our daughter Ingrid was born, I really had to slow down content. There was a few weeks in March where I didn't have anything out at all because I just couldn't. We were raising a newborn. And I even realized then, while the views and the subs and everything on my channel did go down, I'm not going to lie about that. Everything kind of went down. Everybody that was already watching stuck around. Everybody was cool with it. They get it. They're like, well, you had a kid. It's no big deal. So once I started doing content again, I was like, you know, I'm only going to do about 4 days a week. So I can just take 3 days and do whatever. And what I noticed in the long run with that is that maybe the views went down a hair, not a lot. And I'm talking like the weekly number of views on videos, but it didn't really affect everything overall. I actually feel like right now, my subscriber counts are going up faster than they were when I was releasing content 7 days a week. So what I've really learned from this situation is I think people appreciate the higher quality content and the time that's put into a video rather than just getting a new video every single day. And I honestly like it. I like that I get to spend more time editing one video and making sure it's good and putting it out. And, you know, every now and then I still have typos in my videos. You guys see it, but I like the fact that I get to spend time on each video and release it to you guys and be proud of it rather than just throwing something out really, really fast. And on top of that, I don't know if this is true, but I feel like sometimes you guys get burned out of watching content. If there's, you know, videos like every 12 hours or something like that, it's almost too much. So if I would have known that sooner, I may have done things differently. I think I probably wouldn't have. I think I probably still, when I first started, would have done videos daily. But where we're at right now, man, I'm loving just doing a few videos a week so I can spend more time on them and talk to you guys more on Discord and comments and stuff like that. The creative process with some of these YouTube videos is really interesting to me because it evolves daily, literally. There are things that I do differently in each one of my videos that I wasn't doing the day before, whether that's editing or the way I've set up my mic or my camera or something like that. And you can clearly see it if you watch older videos and then go forward to now. There's a lot of differences. When I was doing my first videos, I was trying to do everything in one specific solid take. The intro, the reaction, the outro, everything. And it kind of got crazy because I was really stressed. I didn't have many moments where I'd have to start over intros or anything like that. But I was so stressed about flubbing a word and having to start over or something like that, that I finally got into this process where I'm doing an intro, a dedicated intro that I record, then the reaction, then the outro. And when I do those intros and outros, I do multiple takes. I always want it in one solid video take so I can just say what's on my mind and I'm not thinking about it too much. So I might have quite a few takes of those. But the reactions themselves, always one take, always. And I've actually lost a couple reactions I've wanted to do because I've had technical errors and stuff like that. There's actually reactions that I've lost because it wasn't even technical. It was, I got like halfway through a video and I just stopped it because normally I want to put out everything I record, but there are some things that I've seen that I just don't want to be attached to, whether it's the lyrical content that's in these songs, if it's hateful speech or they're using derogatory comments and stuff like that. Some people might argue that I'm, you know, censoring or taking away from the art form, but it's just me. It's just stuff that I didn't want to put out. And, you know, there's just so many different things that go into this, and I could probably spend way too much time talking about it, but it's fun. Like, I enjoy doing this, and it's funny sometimes. Like, there have been videos that I've done where my intros have taken like an hour. I think the one that was the hardest was when I did The Poet and the Pendulum by Nightwish. It was a 6-minute intro, I think, 5 or 6 minutes. And I did like 40 takes of it because I wanted to just do it in one take and get it all right. And when I choose these videos, there's a lot of factors that go into it. A lot of it is recommendations that I see in the comments. We have a channel on Discord where people can recommend videos, and then people give them thumbs up. So I know if a comment gets a lot of thumbs up, that's what people want to see. There are times where I just pick something. Like, I just pick something that I haven't heard, that I've heard about from other people, and I just go with it. There are a lot of days where I sit down in this chair to record and don't choose what I'm going to record until right then and there. And now that this channel is growing, I actually get a lot of requests for videos. And we'll get more into this later when I start talking about label stuff. But there are bands and labels that reach out to me asking me if I will check out something new from their bands. And sometimes I throw those videos in as well. But a lot of the times, man, I want to keep this authentic. I want to keep it like honest, authentic, non-scripted. So a lot of the times I just sit here, I click record, and we just see what happens. Kind of like this video right now. And then another thing that goes into this on top of just the video content itself is that when I'm done, I have to make a thumbnail for the video. And a lot of people put a lot of time into their thumbnails because they think that's what's going to get people to click. And that is probably true. But honestly, I don't put a lot of time into my thumbnails. When I watch the video back, I find a screen grab of a face that I like that I made or something like that. I take a screenshot of it. Then I take a picture from the music video or the live performance I'm watching. I put it in there, and then I just add all the graphics to it. And that's it, man. Like, I don't get too crazy with anything. In the earlier days when I was doing this, I was making all my thumbnails with Microsoft Paint. Actually, I still use Microsoft Paint half the time and then pull it into a photo editor and just add a couple other things. But on top of all of that, too, there's like the graphics for the channel and stuff like that. And my wife is really into graphic design and being very creative and doing artwork. And she's actually designed a lot of the logos that I use on the channel and stuff like that. And it's been really fun for both of us to just sit and do some of this stuff together at times. One of my absolute favorite things about this channel and about doing YouTube is getting to know you guys. Honestly, man, having this whole experience with YouTube and discovering bands from all over the world and stuff and meeting all you guys has opened me up. I'm discovering new cultures, new music, new languages. I mean, this has been incredible socially, not just for the videos and stuff like that. I've gotten to know so many interesting people from doing these videos. A lot of us spend a ton of time on Discord talking to each other. And as I said earlier, some of us have formed very good relationships. I know most of you on a first name basis at this point. I could jump into a video chat and hear your voice without seeing you and know it's you. That's how well a lot of us have gotten to know each other. I see the same names in live premiere chats all the time. It's great, man. I'm really proud of this community that's been built around this channel. And that's all you guys again. And I've also seen times where people are trolling and people are being rude, and everybody backs each other up. It's just wonderful, man. It's really cool, the social aspect that we have going on around this channel. And I love seeing it every day. And on top of all of that, when I first started, I always told myself I was going to respond to every single comment I got because I appreciate the time that you take to watch these videos and to comment. And I want you to know that. Now, early on, I was able to respond to everything. Nowadays, it would take me all day. I'm not going to lie. It's insanely difficult to respond to every single comment. It's impossible, if I'm being honest. However, I do still read everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Even the comments in other languages. I'll pull up translators and I will translate comments just to see what people said. Now, I may not respond to everything, but if you leave me a comment and you see like the little heart that the content creator has liked your comment, that means I read your comment. I value what you said. I see it. I hear you. And one of my favorite things about you guys leaving comments is that it gives me feedback. It lets me know what you guys want to see on this channel. And I truly appreciate it, man. And as long as I can, regardless of how big this channel gets, I want to still be able to read all those comments. I still want to connect with all of you guys because, like I said earlier in the video, this channel would be nothing without you guys watching, and I value your time a ton. I've already had one video where I've talked in depth about the reaction scene and the people in it and what I think, but I still feel like it's worth talking about this community, especially compared to a year ago to now. And when I say community right now, I'm specifically talking about other YouTubers. And when I first started this, it was by myself. I mean, it's still by myself. I still film and edit all of this stuff alone, but I don't feel alone anymore in terms of doing the actual journey on YouTube. Very early on, I reached out to a lot of other YouTubers and didn't get many responses at all. And now that I've been doing this a while, I kind of understand that. People are wary. There's new YouTube channels every single day. You don't know who people are. So I get it. I'm not holding a grudge against that. But very early on, one person reached out to me. That was Chase Carnison. And you guys that follow this channel know Chase and I are super tight. He is a wonderful human being. And when my channel had less than, 5,000 subs, he left me a comment on one of my videos, said he liked it, keep up the good work, blah, blah, blah. I reached out to him in an email, and then we had a video call, only intending on talking for maybe a half hour about YouTube stuff and what we do. And it ended up being like a 3-hour video call, and we really got to know each other. And Chase and I talk pretty much almost daily at this point. If not daily, it's like every other day. We share a Discord server, and we're on there talking to people a lot. And it's just, it was really a breath of fresh air the first time that I connected with him and was able to share my frustrations and achievements on YouTube with somebody else that's doing the same thing, because this stuff kind of gets stressful. I'm not going to lie. And I know there's people out there that are going to be like, dude, you're doing videos. It's not stressful. It's mentally stressful, honestly. There are days where some of the comments are worse than other times. And then there are days where I'm just drained and I don't feel like doing this. And it's just been nice to talk to other people. And then on top of Chase, there's a handful of other content creators that I've gotten to know very, very well. Elizabeth from The Charismatic Voice and her husband Kirk are amazing people. They have helped me learn about so much new stuff on YouTube and how it works that I never knew about. And then Julia Nylon, another vocal coach from Australia that I know a lot of you guys know. Another fantastic human being that I actually had a really awesome conversation with about spiders like last week. And then Mark from Cardavox Academy, another fantastic dude. Beth Roars, Nick Nocturnal is another person that, even though we're not super tight, he's always helped me out if I've had a question. We also worked on a project together with Ghost Kid to do some stuff. Like, there are some fantastic people on YouTube. And on top of the people that I talk to regularly and have become friends with, there are a lot of other people that I talk to that I would consider acquaintances. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I know these people through YouTube. We talk on social media. We talk about YouTube stuff, but we don't really know each other personally. And that's fine, man. There's a lot of stuff that, people just want to talk about YouTube with other YouTubers, and that's cool. But I did get a question recently asking me why I don't do content with a lot of other content creators. And there's a couple reasons. The first big reason is that I kind of just always wanted my content to be my own. It's the same way I don't take paid reactions. I don't want anybody else dictating what my content is going to be. So I've always just wanted to do these videos by myself. Chase and I have challenged each other to do videos, but I've never actually done one with somebody else. Now, the second reason that I don't do that is because aside from the people that I really mentioned by name just a second ago, I just don't know any of these other YouTubers as people. And I have a very hard time wanting to attach my name to somebody else that I don't know. If there was a YouTuber that reached out to me right now with over 1 million subs, I don't know if I would want to do a video with them if they asked, because I don't know them. I don't know their personality. I don't know how it would work in a video together. And I don't know anything about them. It's kind of the same thing in business marketing, You don't want to attach your name to something you don't know anything about. And that's really all it is. I don't hold any grudges against anybody or anything like that. I think a lot of the people that are doing content are wonderful people and have wonderful content. I'm just very wary sometimes about the stuff that I put out. And it feels safer if I just stick to my own content. Now we're going to start getting into some of the fun parts of this video. We're going to start talking about bans and labels and publishers and monetization. It's going to get wild. Now, I do have an idea for an upcoming video about what bands, labels, and publishers think of reaction videos, where I'm actually going to get quotes and testimonials from them about this stuff. So everything I'm about to say in this part is basically just my experience and my opinion. I'm not quoting anybody else unless I specifically say so, which I probably won't. This is all opinion here. But in the last year, I've learned a lot about this whole reaction thing and what people think of it. And the overall vibe that I get from bands and labels is that they feel reaction videos on YouTube are almost like the new music magazines and stuff. Like back in the day, you'd get a music magazine to read a review on an album and check out new music and stuff. And now we've got, fucking thousands of reaction channels. Let's be honest. There's a reaction channel for everything. And they're all checking out a lot of stuff. Oftentimes the same stuff. And oftentimes people want to see multiple people react to different things. But my experience tells me, specifically with the bands, they love this stuff. I have not encountered one band so far that I've had an actual personal conversation with that has told me they dislike the reaction videos. And my take on that is because it's free publicity. They're getting free exposure to their music and their band from other people. And that's how, the metal scene in specific, that's how that's always worked. I discovered bands at a young age from my friends that told me about them, all word of mouth. That's kind of what reactions are on a bigger scale. It's all word of mouth. You're just sharing stuff you've discovered with other people. And it's funny because a lot of people always tell me, thank you for showing me a new band. Most of the time, I need to be thanking you guys because a lot of the reactions I do are to bands I've never heard of because you recommended them. So if you've ever recommended me a band that I like, thank you. But back to the bands, they love this stuff, man. They get free publicity. More people are getting into their music. It's a win-win situation for them. Now, moving on to the labels. The majority of labels that I've encountered are pro reaction video. The majority. There are a few that aren't. And it's the same thing as the bands. They see free exposure for their bands on the labels, and most of them understand that the exposure may lead to CD sales, ticket sales for live shows, merch sales, stuff like that. And the labels that aren't cool with the reaction videos, I don't know why. I really don't. Because at least for me, from somebody that's worked in the music industry for so long, I just see this as free publicity for these bands. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say I'm doing a service or a fantastic job here, but why wouldn't you want people sharing your music to a new audience that may not hear it? In my reaction scene video, I talked about the different kind of reactors that there are. There are educational reactors that talk about the things that are going on. And then there are entertainment reactors that literally just sit there and react, like gut reaction to the music they're watching. And regardless of which one you like or which one anybody thinks is better or anything like that, it's undeniable to say that both educational and entertainment reactors are exposing music to people that have never heard it. Now, on to the publishers. From my experience, publishers do not like reaction videos. And the main reason for that is money. A publisher is a distributor. They actually own the copyright on the music. They're the ones that oversee where it goes and how it's used. So when you put a video on YouTube, YouTube has an algorithm that to this day, I still don't know how the fuck it works, but they have an algorithm that scans hundreds and thousands and millions of pieces of video and audio. And if content that is flagged is hit by that algorithm, you get a copyright claim on your video. And we'll get into that later. But that's from the publisher. The publisher decides how they want to handle it. They decide if you get a claim or a block or something like that. And for the most part, they don't want to budge on it because if you get a copyright claim, all the ad revenue from your channel goes to that publisher. And a publisher's job is to make money. That's literally the only reason that they fight so hard on this stuff is because they're a corporation. They're hired to make money for labels and bands, and that's it. So they're not cool with it. Right now, they might be in the future, but a lot of the publishers I've talked to, they don't like this stuff. So moving on from the publishing part, we're going to get right into copyright claims, copyright strikes, and video blocks. And before I start off with this section, I will say, coming from the music industry, I knew that this was going to be a big deal with reaction videos. I know how copyrights work with publishers. I knew that the majority of my videos were going to get claims on them, and that's totally cool. It's just the nature of the beast. And while I don't know everything about how all of this stuff works, I'll just share with you what I do know. So when you upload a video to YouTube, the YouTube algorithm scans your entire piece of content. And if they identify anything, whether it's a video or audio or anything like that, they identify anything that's copywritten material, you're going to get an automatic copyright claim on your video. Sometimes those do come with blocks and strikes, but not often. Usually it's just a copyright claim. And what that copyright claim means is that you cannot monetize your video. Any ad revenue that comes in is not going to go to you. Instead, it's going to go to the copyright holder, which is usually the publisher. So a lot of the times when you're watching reaction videos, when you see ads pop up, don't get mad at the reactor, man. That's YouTube placing ads to make money for themselves and the video publisher. Now, when you get a copyright claim, there's multiple things you can do. You can just leave it. If your video is not blocked, sometimes people don't want to dispute anything. They're just like, yeah, whatever. I just want my video to stay up. But you can always dispute that copyright claim, and there are multiple reasons that you can use to dispute it. The most common one is fair use. And fair use, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm not really going to cover that in that video. If you want to know more about this fair use stuff, I would actually highly recommend checking out Elizabeth from the Charismatic Voices video on it. She did a fantastic video on copyright claims and how this system works. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. You dispute a copyright claim. You give your rationale on why you think this is fair use. And for me personally, I kind of argue the fact that my videos have been transformed from entertainment value to educational material. I'm teaching people about the production, the live stuff, the gear that they're using, talking about the history of the band. And when you file a copyright claim, the copyright holder legally has 30 days to respond to it. They either deny it or they let it go to you. Quite often, publishers don't even respond to these, actually. They let the full 30 days go and it just lapses. It becomes yours. There's no copyright claim. You can monetize your video. But there are some publishers that are very known for being strict on this stuff. They'll decline it immediately. They'll say, no, this is our intellectual property. You are not making money from it. And they deny your copyright claim. So from there, a lot of people just leave it. 99% of the time, that's what I do. I just leave it. I mean, if I dispute it and they tell me, cool, you can monetize, awesome. They don't want me to, hey, at least my video gets to stay up and people get to see it. But from there, you can always appeal the video. And that kind of starts up a legal process. So you're appealing their denial of your original copyright claim. And again, you're giving them the rationale on why you think that it should be fair use or educational or something like that. Then they have another 30 days to legally read your appeal and respond to it. Here's the kicker. A lot of these publishers, they don't read or watch any of this stuff. I have had videos that I have left unlisted and I've disputed them and left the view count at 0. I haven't let anybody see it. And I get a copyright claim denied and it still has 0 views, meaning the publisher did not watch my video. They didn't read my dispute. That's actually illegal, but not going to talk about that now. Back to the appeals. So if they let the appeal go the 30 days, it just releases to you. It's your video, you can monetize it. If they reject your appeal, your video is most likely going to get blocked. Actually, they're going to request you take it down. And if you don't, you're going to get a strike on your channel. And then your next course of action from there, which right now, honestly, this is kind of hearsay in me reading about this. I've never done this. I've only appealed 2 videos out of like the couple hundred that I have. So I've never gotten to this point that I'm about to talk about. But if they deny your appeal and they give you a takedown and a strike, your next course of action is legal. You basically appeal that notice that they have given you a strike and want you to take down your video. Basically say, I'm appealing that decision. I do not want to take down my video. Their next course of action is either they release the claim to you or they sue you. And that's intimidating, man. I'm not going to lie. I'm intimidated about that. I don't want to be sued. But from what I understand, a lot of these companies don't want to even go that far because they don't want to waste the money with lawyers going to court over videos like this because we're not making a lot of money here, man. They're not going to want to go to court to keep me from making $200 or $300 on a video. It's not going to happen. And on top of that, and this has happened with other YouTubers in the past, if they take you to court, they sue you over your video, and your video ends up fitting fair use and a judge decides your video is good, they may owe you monetary compensation for issuing a bunk takedown notice on your stuff. So the whole system to me is built to intimidate the shit out of content creators so they don't want to take it that far. These companies are making millions a year off of reaction videos. I guarantee it. Do I have a factual number in front of me? No, I don't. But I can guarantee you they're making millions of dollars off of YouTube videos using their content per year. They just want content creators to think they're not going to win. And I know some of you are probably like, well, if you're so confident, why don't you appeal everything? Again, it's intimidating, man. Right now, YouTube is my only source of income, and that's a huge risk. If I get a couple strikes on my channel, I can't upload content. That's revenue gone to feed myself and my wife and my kids. So it gets intimidating. There's a lot going into it. And again, if you want to know more, I'd highly suggest checking out Elizabeth's video. And a lot of other people have done really cool copyright videos and stuff like that too. If you're interested, just search copyright claim videos on YouTube and you'll find a ton of information. Now on to the fun part, monetization of YouTube content. Now, people start YouTube pages for a lot of different reasons, mostly because people want to have fun, or they want to make money, or a combination of the two. And to be honest, that's pretty much me, man. I'm having an absolute blast doing content on YouTube, and I enjoy discovering new bands and getting to know you guys. But if I could make some money while I'm doing it, awesome, man. I would love nothing more, especially because of the situation with touring and stuff like that. This would be a great way to make money. Now on YouTube, there are a couple different ways you can make money, and most of the time it's through ad revenue. Whenever you see an ad pop up on somebody's page, they're usually going to monetize off of that, or in the cases of the copyrights, they're making money for other people, and we've already talked about that. But you can also do super chats where people can donate in your live chats and stuff like that. I personally have turned those off now because I realized that YouTube takes a huge cut of that. And I just wanted it to be like, if anybody ever wanted to donate or contribute to the channel, they knew that their money was actually going to that instead of being taken, by Google and YouTube as well. You can also have your own merch on there, which I tried to do and somehow the page got all messed up, but I'm going to try that again someday to maybe do some cool merch stuff on there. And honestly, doing reactions is not as lucrative as people probably think it is. That's why a lot of other content creators also stream on Twitch or have a Patreon or something like that, because that's another way that if somebody wants to contribute financially to a channel, they can do so. Now, YouTube is a free platform. Anybody can get on it and watch content. And I've always wanted to keep my channel that way. I'm never going to charge for you to actually see content. And eventually someday, if I ever get to the point where I am making enough just from ad revenue, I'm probably going to wipe out Patreon or just put everything at like $1, because I would love to just make income from ad revenue and never have anybody have to give me anything. But right now, I do still have Patreon and I do have Twitch, and I appreciate every single one of you guys that have contributed to that. But right now, we're just going to be talking about ad revenue from YouTube. And I'm actually going to give you the number that I've made in the last year, and it might surprise some people. In the last 12 months on YouTube, and keep in mind again, this is purely ad revenue. In the last year, I have made roughly $1,490 per month, or $17,861.68. And I know when you look at that number by itself, it's like, wow, that's a really good amount of money. But when this is your only source of income, and that's what you're making in an entire year, not a lot, man. And I've luckily had money saved up from when I was touring. So my wife and myself and our daughter are doing okay. I have no complaints. I'm not complaining about that. But I don't think that number is as high as a lot of people expect it to be. I think a lot of people have the misconception that because you see reaction videos that have hundreds of thousands of views and stuff like that, people are making really good money, when the majority of them are not. Now, are there exceptions? Absolutely. There are exceptions. There are YouTube content creators that have copyright claims that have been very successful at appealing them or battling them legally, and they're making great money. I just haven't got to that point, and that's what that number is. Now, the number that's gonna really blow your mind compared to what I just told you I've made is how much money I've made in ad revenue for YouTube and for copyright holding publishers. And that number is $69,632.32. So going back to the conversation we were having earlier about why the copyright claim system exists, that's why. Because if there were no copyright claims, I could have made almost $90,000 in my first year of doing YouTube. So there's a reason for it, man. It's so people can't just upload content of reactions and video game stuff and stuff like that and just make a ton of money. Because if I was able to do that in my first year, if I had no copyright claims, imagine what I'd probably be able to make going into next year. It would be crazy. So those systems do exist for a reason, although I think at this current point in time, they're kind of broken, but it is what it is, man. Now on to the flip side of the actual ad revenue monetization, there are a lot of sponsorship offers that get thrown around on YouTube for content creators, and mostly it's product placements or advertisements right in the middle of videos. And me personally, I've still never done one. I just can't. And nothing against anybody that has, but I'm one of those kinds of people where I don't want to just do an ad for anything. If I ever do a product placement or an ad on this channel, it's going to be for something that I already like or that I already use. And that's just my personal preference. Again, there are other YouTube content creators that'll take ads for pretty much anything and just throw it in their video because they are trying to make money. But here's where it gets a little misleading as well. There are some content creators that make a lot of money from paid product placements and sponsorships and stuff like that because they aren't making a lot of money off of their monetization from ad revenue because copyright claims. We've already talked about that a bunch. But here's the problem. Some of these content creators stretch the truth a little bit. They'll be like, oh, I'm not making any money doing YouTube. Look how many views I have, and I haven't made a dime from that. While that may be true, that specific video may have an ad for like Raid Shadow Legends in it that made that person thousands of dollars. And that's crazy to me, man, because some of these sponsors and product placements actually look like they'd be pretty lucrative. But on the flip side of that, there's some that are super shitty. Every single day I wake up, I have at least one email wanting me to do a product placement or a sponsorship for something, anything. It could be the most random thing you could think of. I had a sponsor once ask me if I would plug a water bottle in my video, and they offered to pay me $50 for 5 videos. Yeah, $10 a video to plug a water bottle. Kind of insulting, honestly, if, I'm thinking about it, but as channels grow, I'm sure they get pretty good sponsorship offers, and that is another way for people to make money on here if they're not making it from ad revenue because of copyright claims. I originally wasn't going to even do this section. I was just going to lump it in with sponsorship stuff, but it is a little different, so let's just talk about it really quick. Paid reaction videos. And I talked about how I feel about that in my reaction scene video, so I'm not going to take too much time here, but paid reaction videos are a thing. Now, I will say, like, in all my honesty and integrity, I've never done a paid reaction. Now, have I had labels ask me if I would check stuff out for them because they have new releases? 100%, absolutely. I've done that many times, but I've always told them I have my own way of doing things, and I'm gonna be brutally honest. If I don't like it, I may say I don't like it. Now, am I gonna shred this band? No, absolutely not. But I am gonna tell people it's not for me and I didn't like it. And if you're cool with that, I'll still do the video. And every label I've worked with, honestly, has been cool with that. They've been very cool with it. I've had some videos that labels have asked me to check out that I just didn't like. It didn't do anything for me. And that's okay, man, because music is subjective and that's fine. But I have seen other reactors, at least for me, it's pretty clear it's a paid reaction. You can tell by their body language and stuff like that they're not into it, but they don't want to say they're not into it and stuff like that. And I've also talked to other content creators that also do not do paid reactions that have gotten offers from people asking what their rate is to do a paid reaction. Now, I've had unsigned bands and smaller bands reach out to me asking what my rate is. And when I tell them I don't have a rate, if I can sneak your content in, I'll just do that. I'll just check out your band. And they always seem very grateful because they're like, oh, wow, a bunch of other people tried to charge us hundreds of dollars to do that. And that just blows my mind, especially for the unsigned bands that aren't making a lot of money. It seems a little ridiculous to want to charge them a bunch of money. But hey, you know, I'm not here to judge anybody. People can make money the way they want to. I may not do it that way, but like I said, I will never do a paid reaction video, and I'll also never charge on Patreon to do that too. And one of the reasons being is if you take money for something, there's going to be a certain expectation. People are going to expect that you have a certain reaction or say certain things about what you're reacting to. And this all goes back to me wanting to control my own content. I don't want anybody paying me to react to what they want to see. And I don't want anybody paying me to have a positive reaction if I really didn't like something. And one of the biggest and most important things that I've learned in the past 365 days doing YouTube is how to balance my personal everyday life with content creating. And again, this is really easy for me because I just walk back to this room in my house and I just record and then I edit. I get to sit in my house, my family's here, and I just work. It does get stressful at times. There are days where I just don't want to do it. But then there are things outside of the actual editing and outside of the actual filming that take up a lot of time as well. Again, I read through all my comments and I've had to learn when to do that and how to balance that with my time at home. I mean, I've had times when Claire, my wife, is like, hey, can you just put your phone down for a little while and just hang out and not worry about any of that stuff? Like, I know you're working hard on this, but like, give yourself a break. And I appreciate that, man, because sometimes I kind of work myself a little too hard checking stuff out. But, you know, especially now having a child here, our daughter is almost 4 months old now. And that's been a massive change, man. I've had to completely change my entire schedule of when I'm doing things. Normally, after Ingrid goes to bed, Claire will shortly go to bed with her, and then I'll stay up back here between usually 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. watching the baby monitor, filming content, and editing. I usually do all my work at night, like right now while I'm filming this. And then during the day, I'll catch up with little things, whether it's, you know, tweets or Instagram or responding to comments from you guys. There's a lot more little things that go into this than just the content itself, and learning how to balance that has been really good. I'm actually at a place now where I'm about a week ahead of videos, with the exception of this one, because I wanted to do it at the right time. But that's why you don't see me like throwing stuff out immediately. There's usually about a week buffer in there where if a new video comes out, I'll probably film it that day, but I won't release it for about a week. And the reason that I've got myself a week ahead of schedule is that if something comes up, I can balance that. I can take a night off and then catch up another night. So I'm not always just fully pressured that I have to do everything a night ahead or anything like that. And that's the reason I'm able to get videos on Patreon a couple days early. Some people like to subscribe to my Patreon because they get to see the videos before everybody else. I appreciate you guys for that. And I'm finally at a point where instead of you guys seeing it like 12 hours before everybody, you actually get it like 2.5 days. And that's pretty cool, man. I enjoy that I'm able to do that. And I've had a lot of comments lately asking if anybody's recognized me in person, like in my personal life from YouTube. One time. It's only happened one time in a year, and it wasn't even really a big deal. So it's kind of crazy, man. The whole personal life and YouTube content creating hasn't really overlapped itself that much yet, except for just learning how to schedule everything away from what I have to do with my personal time with my family. So the future of this channel, at least for me sitting here right now, is pretty set in stone in my mind. The reason I started this channel, as I've already covered, was because we couldn't tour anymore because of the pandemic, and I wanted to find something new to do. And a lot of people have asked me, once touring starts again, what's going to happen with the channel? When you're back out on tour, what's going on? Honestly, guys, when I found out my wife was pregnant, I decided right then I'm not going back out on tour. I've been touring for 15 years and I've worked for a lot of great bands and I've been all over the world and it's great. I love it. It's in my blood. It's a blast. And I don't think I could have ever imagined not doing it. But now that touring is starting again and I have a kid, I'm staying home. I'm over it, man. I want to raise a kid. I want to be here for my wife. That being said, nothing's going to change on this channel. Content is going to keep going forward the way it always has been because YouTube has given me a reason to be able to be home and possibly make money doing this. And while the income, like we talked about, isn't quite full-time yet, it has the potential to get there. And this could be something that I can raise my kid and be with my wife and stay at home. So I'm going to keep doing content like this and nothing's going to change. And hopefully you guys will still enjoy it and still watch it like you already have. So to everybody that made it through this video, thank you so very much for watching. And thank you for making this past year such a blast for me, man. Not only, like I said, has it been fun just doing content and talking to you guys and stuff, but I've discovered some awesome bands, man. Like, it blows my mind that there have been so many bands from other parts of the world that I have never really been exposed to just because of that difference in countries and radio markets and stuff like that. And I've honestly discovered some of my new favorite bands just from doing this reaction channel. And that's all thanks to you guys, because you guys give me the recommendations and all the comments on what I should check out. So as much as people thank me for showing them new content, I need to thank you guys as well. And once again, if there's anything else you're curious about, drop me a comment below and I'll answer it as honestly as I can. But once again, guys, thank you so very much. I have a lot of other things online that you can check out: Twitch, Discord, Patreon, all that stuff. And if you want to help the channel out, the best way to do that is to actually share this content. Anytime you like a reaction, just share it somewhere on social media. Tell other people to check it out. That actually helps a ton, man, and I appreciate that when you guys do it. If anybody's interested in social media, my handle on all of that is @TankTheTech, and I'll throw some links below where you can check out other stuff. But again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making this an awesome year, and I cannot wait to see where this goes in the next year.